Alright, in my last video I showed you how to find and open Illustrator and how to save your files in the right place so that you can turn them in and get a grade for them. Now it's time to actually work on the Illustrator Play assignments. So let's look at the directions and just make sure that we know what we're doing. So the first assignment is called Shapes, and we're just focusing on the Shapes tool. Number 2 is about brushes, and we're just focusing on the brush tools. Number 3 is about text, and number 4, you're going to put together the brushes, text, and shape tools to create a new graphic. So you get to be creative and play a little bit. So number 1 is the Shapes tool. Use the Shape tool to create different shapes in different sizes and arrange them on your page. Use different colors for different shapes, and then add color to the shapes with the fill, add the border with the stroke. And think about design. Create a flow with the shapes that you're creating. So we need to have several different shapes. There need to be different colors. And they need to be spaced out so it doesn't look like you just stamped a bunch of shapes onto your page in like 2 minutes and quit. So we got this. Alright, so I'm going to InDesign or Illustrator. And I'm making sure that I'm using the file that I saved as Illustrator Play 1 because that's the one that the teacher is going to grade for shapes. So 1 should be about shapes. Now there's all these tools along the side. Your toolbar may look slightly different than mine, but you want to look for this one that has the rectangle. And if you hover over it, it'll even show you a rectangle tool. All of these tools that have a little triangle in the corner, it means that there's more similar tools with them. So if I hold down with my mouse on this rectangle tool, that's called a hard press. If I hard press the rectangle tool, these other options pop up. We're not going to use the flare tool today. That's a little more complicated. I'd like you to stick with the star all the way to rectangle. So for fun, I'm going to pick out the star to start. And I haven't done anything yet, but you can see that the star is selected because it's a little darker and it's showing up in the window. And over here on the side, Properties, Layers, Libraries, I have the Properties tab selected. I have these options. So fill, kind of think of like the filling of a donut. It's the inside of a shape. So if I click on this white square, I can choose from lots of different options for color. I can even create my own custom color. So just for fun, I'm going to be a little basic, and I'm going to choose a basic yellow for the inside of my star. And now the fill is changed to yellow. And I want the star to be outlined, but I'm feeling a little pergold or pride, so I'm going to switch to the purple. And so you can see there's a purple outline. And now I'm just going to hold down on my mouse and create a star on the page. And you can see that it's yellow with a purple outline, but that outline doesn't show up a whole lot. So I'm going to change the number here next to stroke, and I'm going to make it a thicker outline. And you can see how that got thicker, right? So now I'm going to switch back over here to this top arrow called the selection tool, the black arrow. And that lets me move my star around on the page and reposition it. If I put the mouse kind of in the corner and it makes this little U arrow thing, I can also adjust like the angle, and I can make it bigger or smaller. So that's one shape. Now I'm going to go over to the Shapes tool again, and I'm going to pick a different shape, because remember, you have to have several different shapes. I think I'm going to go with a circle this time. You have to change the colors too. They can't all be the same colors. So maybe I'll do a green circle with a yellow outline, and I don't want the outline to be quite as thick as with the star, so I'm going to change the number. And I'm just going to draw right here on the screen, and I can draw whatever size I want. And if I switch back to the black arrow, I can move this circle around. I can resize it. Ooh, that looks more like an oval. So you can play around with it and kind of make things the way you want. So now I have 2 shapes. Well, my page isn't full, and I need more than 2 shapes. I'm going to go ahead and go to File and Save just to make sure that my work doesn't disappear. And I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to pick some other shapes. So, oh, that one's the same color. I better change the color because remember they all have to be different colors. So let's see, this one's going to be pink, and I'm going to make the outline orange. I like pink and orange together. And again, I want to make the thickness of the outline a little darker so you can see it. So now I have 3 different shapes. They're different sizes. And I just need to finish my design. So let's see. I think I'll go ahead and try one more. I'll try the polygon tool, and I'll make this one blue. I haven't used blue yet. And then I'll give it a light blue for the outline, and a smaller outline. And then I'm going to draw right there. I don't like how that's covering, so I'm going to pick the arrow, move it back over, adjust it, maybe put it down here, and that's pretty good. File and save. Now I hope that your first Illustrator play, when it's done, is a little more creative than just 4 shapes slapped on there. For the sake of time, I'm going to move on to the next one. Again, yours should be better than this. This took me 5 minutes. Please do something better. Get ready for the next one.